Hey, here we are. It's Friday Night Smackdown. I think I messed up the intro. If I did, my bad. But it is the Mark It Down pod. Oh God, here we go. It is the Mark It Down podcast here with your host Matt Cascone, reviewing tonight's episode of Friday Night Smackdown. And right off the bat, they are in France, and the crowd is hot. Hot crowd in France, and they are ready for some wrestling. Not a whole lot of wrestling tonight on SmackDown, but it was actually still, I think, a decent episode. And the crowd was like hot from the start to the end. It was all the same level of heat, and it was very high up there. So, got to give them props for that. Um, right off the bat, we see Cody enters the building. Randy Orton enters the building. Kevin Owens enters the building. Kevin Owens wearing a Terry Funk T-shirt. Gotta love the old funker. Terry Funk forever. R.I.P. Miss him dearly, but always love a reference to him. And we get right into it. It's the first match of the night. It is Bayley, Naomi, I was about to say Sasha Banks. That's not correct. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. The four of those gals versus Damage Control, Dakota Kai, Kairi Sane, Io Sky, but not Dakota Kai. The fourth member of their team is Tiffany Stratton. I guess because Tiffany is in this triple threat tomorrow with Naomi and Bayley. They want to get her in on the mix. Personally, I would have just had her at ringside. I think that would have totally been more her style. Just have her. She could be on commentary and have EO be the fourth. But I guess they just don't want to have Damage Control take a full team loss right now, because they have been on the losing end of things lately. But Io was not even at ringside. I wonder, has she shown up since Mania? I remember Damage Control did that thing where they were in the skybox watching Naomi versus Bayley. And yeah, no, Io Sky was there. So I wonder what the deal was. Wonder if she has visa issues, if maybe she's hurt, who knows? But Io was not at ringside, which I thought was notable. Anywho, match goes underway. It's pretty solid. Naomi starts off the match, and the crowd is doing that Bayley chant, and I feel like they should have predicted this, and it wasn't. I was starting to worry for Naomi, but to her credit, she got the crowd back into what was going on. She started, a simple hand clap, and the crowd stopped chanting the Bayley chant and started clapping along to Naomi. So props for her. Always love it when performers able to adapt and take control and not let the crowd hijack the show. And I will say the crowd was pretty well behaved tonight, pretty well. But they, like I said, they were also still very hot. So this match went underway. Let me see if I wrote any real notes for this match. Tiffany's handspring moonsault was amazing. At the same time, her Alabama slam was not great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And just Wade Barrett, in my opinion, shouldn't have sold it as like great. Like he even said in the commentary, I'm like, Wade, it wasn't a great Alabama slam. It's not the end of the world, but let's not draw more attention to it by trying to sell it so it's something it's not. He's trying to sell us hamburger meat as a steak. And it's like, no, that's not going to work. So another interesting thing I noticed about people adapting, Kairi was kind of like in front of the camera, and like Tiffany was doing a move against the ropes, and she kind of like clumsily walked across the apron and just looked kind of awkward. But afterwards, she kind of like sat down on the apron and like did like a peace sign. I was just like, good save. I like the character work here. Nobody's perfect, but it's great to see people able to adapt to certain situations and keep the ball rolling and not make things stand out too badly. And I think so. I applaud Kairi Sane for that. All right. So yeah, Bayley's team won. There was definitely some the big thing in this match that they were trying to tell us was Bayley at one point wanted to go to her corner to get a tag, and the only person available was Bianca Belair, and Bianca Belair was hesitant to tag in, and she didn't. They someone got. I think Jade Cargill ended up getting to the apron, and she tagged in. So there's still that animosity that Bianca Belair has for Damage Control. So I like to see that. Just checking to see if we have any comments. Nope, it's all good. So that was cool. I like that. At the end, we got a kind of like a finish spam, which I'm not usually a fan of, but it just looked really cool here. Everybody was hitting their moves, and they all looked fluid. They all looked solid. It was a lot of fun seeing everybody hit their special moves on everybody else. It finished with Bianca Belair hitting the KOD on Dakota Kai, getting the 1-2-3 for her team. Love Dakota. Hope we're getting big things for her somewhere down the line. I would like to see more than just her be the tag team champion. I think she has what it takes to be either the leader of Damage Control, or if that ends up disbanding at some point, her breaking out on her own and becoming her own champion, whether it's the World Heavyweight on Raw, the WWE on SmackDown, maybe one of these North American championships I keep hearing so much about down on NXT, whatever. I think she's ready for singles gold in WWE. All right, so moving on. Like I said, we started off strong. Not a lot of wrestling tonight. I believe there were 4 matches. So that was match number 1. We go backstage, and this just becomes a long line of like kind of backstage segments, and they're not bad by any means, but I did start to notice. I'm like, are we gonna have a night of light wrestling tonight? And that was the case. So the first one, A-Town Down Under promote their match later tonight. It's decent, but it kind of also reeks of we're not on the pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like, it just becomes blatantly obvious, and that's a shame. Not that I like them, but at the same time, it's a tag team title match. It feels like it should be on the pay-per-view, the PLE, the paid live event, whatever you call it. And I get it. Not everyone can end up on the big shows. I get it. So this is why they're here tonight, and the crowd's ready for it. We go to commercial. Then something interesting happens. We go backstage to Bianca and Jade, and they're promoting their tag team title match that will be on the Backlash show tomorrow. It'll be Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus the women's tag team champions, Asuka and Kairi Sane. And Bianca basically does all the talking here, and they're backstage, and she's saying she wants to be done with Damage Control. This will be the end of it. She'll finally be able to put a bow on this and like wrap it up. And she's like looking off screen, and it's kind of awkwardly she's looking at Bayley, who happens to be backstage with them, like in this kind of, it's not really a locker room, it's a dressing room. It's Naomi and Bayley are on right off camera, and they pan over, and Bianca's just kind of still miffed with Bayley, and Jade has to tell her to like chill out, calm down. And I actually really like this, not because of the rift that the animosity I talked about earlier that Bianca still has with Bayley. I liked it because, to me, it sows the seeds of doubt that perhaps Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill are not going to win the tag team titles. I would say they probably are, but this is the first time I've thought maybe they won't. Maybe Damage Control is going to hold on to these titles a little bit longer. So we'll see tomorrow. My prediction is they will win, and eventually this kind of animosity that Bianca has will consume her, and like that'll be when her and Jade break up, presumably after losing the titles that I think they're going to win tomorrow. But you never know. They might not win tomorrow. If they don't win tomorrow, Bianca's definitely taking the pin. Let's put it that way. There's no way Jade Cargill is taking a pin loss or a submission loss yet. But that's for tomorrow to find out. We'll see. Again, another backstage segment. And again, this is a good one. I really like this one a lot. It was Carmelo Hayes is backstage with, I was about to say Adam Pearce, with Nick Aldis talking business, and Bobby Lashley shows up. He welcomes Carmelo Hayes, says like, "Hey, if there's any advice you need, like, let me know." Like he's, showing him admiration the same way kind of Sheamus did for Braun Breaker. But I think it comes off more sincere here on Raw. Sheamus just like interrupts Braun Breaker during his interview. It's like, Sheamus, you could just wait till the end of his interview to, introduce yourself and say you're a big fan. You don't have to like, be right on top of him getting his screen time. So I like this from Bobby. Carmelo says like, "Nah, man, I'm like not like super dickish, but he does like come off kind of narcissistic, braggadocious, cocky, just kind of like, nah, I was the first, round draft pick, and I was just in the main event of SmackDown last week against Cody Rhodes, the WWE champion. Like, I'm good, but thanks." And like Bobby's just like, "Okay, but it's not about the shots you take, it's the ones like you hit, and you lost on Friday." And it's like, ooh, a little dig here. And then Carmelo fires back like, "Bobby, when's the last time you took a shot?" And all of this is kind of, it's not super heavy handed. I like it how they're not all up in each other's face, or they're not like, "Ha ha, like, I'm going to one up you." It's just kind of, it's fluid. And Bobby's not always the best talker, but he was they bounced off very well off each other. And Bobby delivered his lines, probably the best I've heard from him. So I really like this. And Bobby at the Carmelo goes to leave, and Bobby just puts his hands out. And he's like, he's just here's a piece of free advice, like, watch out for who you disrespect around here. And that's the end of it. It's cool. I like it. Makes sense. Only thing I don't like about it is sometimes I feel like in WWE, it's like they can't have more than like one black guy succeed at a time. Like it feels like they're always kind of like competing for the same spot. And I'm like, they're totally different wrestlers, totally different performers. They don't need to have the same spot. There can be a spot for both of these guys. They don't have to compete against each other. Now, would I love to see a Bobby Lashley versus Carmelo Hayes match? Absolutely yes. But I hope there's things. I hope the outcome of that match doesn't negatively affect the other person. You know what I'm saying? Like when Big E was Mr. Money in the Bank, who'd he cash in on? He cashed in on Bobby Lashley because we couldn't have two black world champions. Like that was my thought process of WWE. I would have been cool with Big E and Bobby Lashley both being world champions at the same time. That would be unprecedented. I get it. It would be hard to take away from Roman. I get it. But also, like, you know, I could think of things like I would rather not see than that. Like that wouldn't have been wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world for me. But I could digress. That's enough for race relations from this white guy. So we're gonna move on. Looking forward to seeing where that goes. Now we get into our second match, and I gotta say I didn't really pay much attention to this one. It's the New Catch Republic. That's I was about to say Butch. See, I'm almost messing up all the names tonight. It's Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate versus the AOP, Rakim and I was about to say Razor. So they have a tag team match. It's fine. It's whatever. I don't care. I think they had potential with Final Testament. I thought this could save like Karrion Kross. Like I thought this could do something for him, and it's done absolutely nothing at this point. I think they've lost most of their matches. AOP win this one, but like they just lost on NXT on Tuesday. And I get that the New Catch Republic interfered in that match, but interference or not, if you're losing 2/3 of your matches, I just don't care. And it doesn't matter how cool the group looks or how like good looking Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux are. Like it just like there's no interest for me in this group. And it's been like that since almost day one. Like I think their first loss was like as soon as Karrion lost one-on-one against Bobby. I'm like, well, there goes that idea. But who knows? Maybe they'll fare better on Raw. This is, you got to remember, this is the SmackDown before Backlash. After Backlash, the draft picks go into effect. So the final testament will be on Monday Night Raw starting on this Monday. So we'll see how they do. So yeah, kind of it was a whatever match. Then we go backstage, and we have some interesting news. Heyman and Aldis are having a discussion. Heyman has requested that Nick Aldis remove Randy Orton and Kevin Owens from this Backlash match. If you didn't know, Kevin Owens and Randy Orton will be teaming up to take on the current bloodline of Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. There's some real fear from Paul. He's really trying to sell this. I like it. I don't know if I really buy it. We'll see with this match. Again, they're really trying to sell that, like, the bloodline's more dangerous than ever, or Solo Sikoa is more dangerous than ever. And I get it. I think tomorrow will really be what makes or breaks it. And the interesting thing here that we learn is during the back and forth, Paul Heyman lets it slip that he has not spoken to Roman Reigns since WrestleMania. And Nick gives him a very like, what the F? And it's revealed that Roman Reigns didn't take himself out of the draft. Paul Heyman took Roman Reigns out of the draft. So that was the big revelation here. And also that, it's very clear that Paul Heyman is scared. So we go into the next part, which is the RKO show. And first comes out Randy Orton, and the whole crowd is singing Randy Orton's theme. You can see he's really, I wouldn't say getting a kick out of it. He's more like emotional, like he's really vibing. And I've said this, like, Randy Orton having fun in WWE is just it's so good for business, and it's so good to watch as a viewer. You always want to see people having fun, but like Randy Orton's so freaking talented, but it, like, when he's not having a good time, you can kind of tell, and it's just kind of a drag. But when he's having a good time, I don't think there's anyone better than Randy Orton. Like, is he my particular favorite? No. But like, you can't go wrong with a Randy Orton who's having fun. He's one of the best, if not the best. So next up, KO comes out, and he's emotional because you got to remember, he's French Canadian. We're in France. That's half his thing right there. There's no lyrics to his song. Otherwise, I'm sure he will be singing it. He's very, very happy. KO starts the intro for the RKO show. We have a comment. Let me check. What is your thoughts on the 10? So we got a, how do I mark it down? What is your thoughts on the 10 releases from WWE? We will be talking about that, or I'll be talking about that. I do definitely have some thoughts. We'll be talking that at the tour later on, though. But I'll briefly harp on it. There were 10 releases from another 10 releases from WWE, mostly NXT, but also including Drew Gulak. So we will be talking about that later. I do have some thoughts for sure. Thank you for chiming in, Hunter Iggy. I appreciate it. One of my guys right now. So let me get back to. Okay, take that off. All right. So, KO starts speaking French. Welcomes the crowd. It's great. Paul Heyman comes out without a real introduction. The ECW chants start. And then, it's the whole thing. Paul Heyman's like, they're so dangerous. You got to watch out. Like, you shouldn't take this match. And of course, Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga rush the ring, and they're fighting Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. And security has to come out. And, it's the usual suspects. Like, you got the Jamie Nobles and the mindless security guards who are extras. And it's funny, I noticed this one guy who had a real, like, he was having some hair issues of his own, and I was like, who's that guy with the long hair who's like, he's starting to lose it. And I'm like, wait a minute. Randy Orton puts him through the table. It's none other than NXT original Sylvester Lafore. If you don't remember him, he feuded with Enzo and Cass. He was one of those, those like the black and gold day one guys. So I think he was an extra tonight. So that was interesting. And he got like a big spot as far as security guards go. So good for him. Hope he's doing well. Maybe shave the hair or get something for it, because it was the first thing I noticed. But I feel the pain, man. I feel it. I'll be there too. Don't worry. Anyway, we go on to the Street Profits. They have a rebuttal for A-Town Down Under. They're like, hey, we're going to beat you because we want the smoke, yada, yada, yada. You know the deal. Next up, LA Knight, versus Angel. And this match was fine. It was whatever. It didn't matter. I have a gripe about a couple things here. One, I wish Angel Garza would go back to the rip-away pants, or whenever they decide to do something different with him that isn't Legado del Fantasma, I hope he brings back the rip-away pants. I thought the rip-away pants were a fun, silly gimmick that could work as either a heel or a face. I remember specifically during the pandemic era, a huge missed opportunity, in my opinion, or they at least should have waited for a crowd. He was having a match with Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens ripped off his pants. And I watched, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever, but it could have been funnier if Angel Garza, as it used to be called, now just Angel, if he sold it. Like he's like, nobody rips off my pants. Nobody rips off my pants but me. Like that would have been like, and if he was just irate at ringside, that would have been beautiful. And they can still do it. I mean, a lot of people don't remember the pandemic era, but I think that would go over really, really well with fans. And I think bring back the pants when you can. Maybe now is not the best time because he's in a big group and he kind of just gets lost in the shuffle. It's not really about him, but when the time comes, because I think his time will come. Bring back those pants, do those pants spots, and definitely do that spot again with Kevin Owens. You could do it again with Kevin. That's fine. I would love it. I would pop. I would pop for that. The pants. The ripping of the pants. Anyway, they have a match. It's fine. LA Knight wins. LA Knight lets us know that he's going to be in the King of the Ring tournament. And Santos Escobar also lets us know that he'll be in the King of the Ring tournament. And it's like, fine, whatever. Here's my second gripe. LA Knight doesn't have a match tomorrow. He's the hottest thing you got going. And this guy isn't going to win the U.S. title till SummerSlam, which is insane because he should have won it at last year's SummerSlam. Like, this is ridiculous. How long are they going to wait till they put a title on LA Knight? And it's like, are they going to do King of the Ring for him? He could be a maybe for me. I haven't seen the whole list of guys. I can tell you it's definitely not going to be Santos. It's definitely not going to be Xavier Woods. We'll see. Maybe it could be LA Knight. Maybe it could be Gunther. I haven't really looked at the full list. I have to take a look at the brackets when they come out. So we shall see. Anyway, so that was our third match of the night. We now go to Carlito backstage. He talks about the LWO. What he says makes sense. It doesn't make sense why Ray didn't pick him to be like in this WrestleMania match with him. Before he can get much else out, though, Dragon Lee comes and attacks him. And it's like, cool, we'll get to this stuff on Raw. I'm sure that'll be a feud on Raw. I'm not really hot on Carlito. I never really have been. Like, I've never disliked him, and I have been a fan of his at some points. But, like, this whole return's been a dud, and I don't think it's really going to go anywhere substantial. Like, I don't think he'll ever have a singles match on a pay-per-view, even though he's supposed to at one point. But we'll see. maybe he can do good work with Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee is great. Carlito's got the character stuff down, so that's important. And we'll see how that goes over on Raw. So now we got the last match of the night. It's the tag titles. So it's A-Town Down Under versus the Street Profits. Street Profits come out with the rest of the Pride, B-Fab and Bobby Lashley. B-Fab and Bobby Lashley go to the back. I guess they just go to the back because they know. I don't want to spoil the ending. Anyway, the Street Profits go into the crowd to do their entrance, kind of like they've done in the past in big moments. It was fun. Not one of their better ones, but still, there's definitely the crowd to do it in. This is a very hot crowd. You didn't need to, but the crowd deserved it. It's a hot crowd. Wish they had gotten a couple better camera spots with them. We go to commercial. We come back. The match starts. Dawkins really takes his time with the Swanton. It was something I noticed. Like, I'd rather these guys take their time than go too fast and hurt themselves. But it was definitely, it seemed off, kind of odd to me. Not sure if there's anything there. They did a weird spot where they were kind of like doing like tit for tat kind of thing. So I think Austin hit Montez. Montez hit Austin. Austin fell down. I was about to say Gary Busey. What am I thinking? Like Gary Busey. Grayson Waller was on the top rope, and he's kind of like, "Oh, you caught my hand in the cookie jar. Like I was about to like drop kick you, but now I can't." He instead like jumps to a side rope to do a coast to coast. Montez ducks, and like he hits Angelo Dawkins. Sorry, Austin had hit Angelo Dawkins, not Montez. So Austin hit Angelo. Montez hit Austin. Busey, Grayson gets caught by Montez, and Grayson does a drop kick, misses Montez, and hits Angelo Dawkins in the ass. And it was just kind of weird. They almost get a 3 count. They don't. But later on, Austin Theory does the roll-in drop kick, but instead of hitting the drop kick, Angelo Dawkins hits the pounce, and it was great. I feel like Angelo Dawkins, they can do so much with him. I hope they know what to do with him next. You know what I mean? If they break up the Street Profits, which I think they should do at some point soon, they should just do that because they lost this match. They didn't win, and it's another like the Pride. They're not as bad as Final Testament because if this group breaks up, like Bobby Lashley will be fine. If Final Testament group breaks up, I don't think. God, I should just write down names because I know the names are just weird saying them like one after another all the time. I don't think Karrion Kross will be okay if Final Testament breaks up, but both groups just have like this like we win, we lose, we win, we lose. None of us have titles. So it's like none of us are really doing anything substantial as a group. So it's like, why do I care about either of these groups? The Final Testament feels like the better put together group, but the Pride is the one that's winning more matches. But luckily we won't have them feuding with each other anymore because the Pride is staying on SmackDown. Anyway, that's the last match of the night. 4 matches tonight on SmackDown, but we have one more segment. It is the meeting of Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. So Cody, you might think they do a contract signing here, but then someone's got to go through a table. I don't think either of these guys want to put the other one through a table. So anyway, AJ comes out. Cody comes out. Crowd starts to kind of hijack this portion of the program. I think it was a good back and forth between Cody and AJ, but anytime like they said phenomenal, the France crowd went into like they've got like this phenomenal soccer chants or whatever. I'm not familiar with it. It was the first time I was hearing it, but they were like really into it. So there was stuff like AJ, like Cody saying, "Hey, we're both Georgia boys. We both started wrestling in Georgia. Like, I really admire you, and everyone knew who you were when I started." And AJ is like tries to cut him off, and he's like, "I don't want to hear about how I was your hero, or whatever, because I'm in my prime." I and Cody was like, "Well, I didn't say you were," and he's like, "Yeah, but I know what you're doing." And they're like, "All right." And AJ's a little, he's annoyed with Cody, that the fact that he was handed everything. Like, AJ really had to fight to be here in WWE. Cody was open here in open arms, and he chose to leave. That was his choice. And now he's back, and he's just like riding the coattails of his dad, basically. And of course, Cody, he always gets that tear in his eye. You can see his lip quivering anytime anybody brings up Dusty. And he even makes reference to Stardust. He does the thing. AJ does the thing. And an Olay chant breaks out from the crowd. Again, kind of hijacking the thing, but not terribly, but enough that I feel like maybe Cody didn't get to say everything he wanted to say. That was the vibe I got, but I could be wrong. But he ends with saying that this match will be too sweet. AJ kind of smirks and does this, goes up. Cody goes in. Oh, but AJ smacks him. And I'm like, boom, great way to sell the match. AJ leaves. That's how you do the go home. And then obviously WWE put together a great, video package, especially for AJ Styles, because God, does he need it. Is he the phenomenal one? Yes. Is he one of the best to do this? Yes. Is he still on the top of his game? Yes. But he's the most uninteresting he's ever been. It feels like a soft reboot of when he was doing like that one man, like he was like the lone wolf in TNA, when he came back and he started wearing the gloves and his hair started getting a little bit longer. It wasn't spiky anymore. And like it worked then. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it worked. People thought it was cool. It worked. Basically, what he's stuck with feels like he's kind of revamping that, but it's just not interesting. I don't care. And I think, like, it's like Meltzer said, that this isn't the big money match. Like, this marquee is not going to sell the event. They're banking on the match itself being really good, and that's going to be good enough. And it's like there's a good and a bad scenario for that. I'm into it, but I definitely want to have a good video package. Like, definitely show, like, do that stuff Cody said about, like, or that AJ said, like, I'm still in my prime, and maybe show like really younger clips of AJ Styles before WWE in a video package. Because you put those video packages on YouTube, you put them on the pre-show, that'll help sell the event. Not that it needs help selling. I'm just saying I love a good promo video, and WWE does great promo videos. And I'm sure it'll be a great match. Am I going to watch tomorrow? We'll see. I have plans. I have to go to the city. I don't know if I'll be able to fit it in. I wouldn't mind watching, but it's kind of, the card for me isn't great. It could be a solid show. Let's put it this way. After tonight, I think what will sell that show will be the crowd. It won't be the show. Because, like, even tonight, Smackdown, not a great episode. Not a terrible episode, but not a great episode. But the crowd really sold it, and it was big. I was saying I think they should have gone back to Puerto Rico, but I think France will bring it tomorrow. I think France will definitely turn up. It'll be a great time. They'll have a great show. I mean, they might have a great show, but I'm saying, like I said, the crowd will sell this, I think. So finally, the elephant in the room. We have the firings. They released, I believe, 10 NXT superstars, none of whom I know. None of them stuck out to me at all. I think they were all kind of prospects nobody really see on TV. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. Be happy to hear. But the big one was Drew Gulak, which is, in my opinion, is a shame. I couldn't figure out how to get how do I find this? I couldn't figure out how to get pictures on here, so you'll just have to make do with Give me a second. Boom, in the top corner. Boom. Yeah, you can barely see it. That's a picture of me and Drew Gulak. It's a terrible picture, but he was so nice. So I'll just take that real quick. So Drew Gulak has been fired after Ronda Rousey complained that he had pulled on her drawstring from her I guess her workout pants backstage at a WWE show in front of some people. She confronted him and he apologized, and that was the end of it until now when she's kind of like on this complaining tour. Now I like Ronda. Uh, I met her. I should pull up a picture of her, but again, I can't even pull up pictures right now. But to me, this does seem she just seems to be complaining about anything and everything right now, which is a shame because she's very accomplished. She's very talented. Uh, she could be a nice lady when she wants to be. And, if this upset her with Drew, she has every right to be upset about it. But I got to say, if the dude apologized, and also I'm pretty sure this took place. I don't have all the facts right in front of me, but the facts are we know that he did apologize. He said that he accidentally pulled on it. Like it sounded kind of like crazy, like how do you accidentally do that? But like I'm sure we've all been in situations where like something like how in the world did that happen? Like how did that like somehow that like defied the laws of physics? You know what I mean? You ever been in a situation like that? I know I have, not with pulling on people's drawstrings by all means, but just like that was bizarre. All that being said, well, from what I heard, she did ask to work with him afterwards. I don't know if the timeline matches up, but she definitely did work with Drew, and I do believe it was afterwards where she got to emasculate him on television. Like, I feel like if he apologized and you got to he was the only WWE superstar besides Triple H, who he had a WrestleMania match with. Drew was the only guy you got to emasculate on the roster. Me personally, I feel like that's I'm not justifying if he pulled on his drawstring. I just think that's the proper punishment, and like the time has already been served. But after that was after she talked about that, he was taken off shows. He has a group on NXT called the Catches Catch Can. It's basically Catch Point. It's his group Catch Point from Evolve and other wrestling promotions that he's in. But I guess they didn't have the rights to Catch Point. Like he didn't want to give up the rights probably. But they took him off that group. They took his name off the graphic, and then William Regal's son, who's in the group, said that they ordered a hit. So this is the second guy that Tony D'Angelo's group has literally killed in storyline. So Drew Gulak got killed off, or at least it's alluded to that Drew Gulak got killed off on NXT, and that happened a couple weeks ago, and now he's been released. And I just, again, actions, you mess up, you deserve consequences. I'm not saying we should look the other way, and but I feel like the consequence here, I feel like should have been Ronda kicking his ass on TV in front of everybody. Now she's not working with them, and she basically got him fired, or he got himself fired, however you want to look at it. I'm just saying I don't particularly agree with it. I'm not super pleased with it. Am I really mad about it? No. Drew wasn't doing much. Like he had a group, but NXT's the worst it's ever been, and it's not a really popular group. I don't even know one of the guys on it. It's Charlie Dempsey, who's William Regal's son. It's Damon Kemp, who's Gable Stevenson's brother, and it's a third guy who I do not know at all. They're the Catch as Catch Can group with Gulak. And I'm not hating on Ronda either, but again, I'm still not really happy with her. Wish she would stop complaining and just try and focus on the positives and moving forward. But I think the good news is that Drew, hopefully this will open more opportunities up for him. You know, I think he's a great talent. I've met him in person. Like, obviously, I can't speak to every wrestler I meet. They're typically nice. Like, I can't speak to, and like, not excusing any bad behavior, but I'm just saying I get good vibes from him. Uh, I like him. Want to see him succeed. He even responds to a lot of my Instagram stories, which is funny, um, that are about him. Uh, but I think this opens the door for Catch Point. If you were into like wrestling back in the day, like 10, not quite 10 years ago yet, but more than 5, he had a group called Catch Point, and it was guys like him, uh, Tracy Williams, Hot Sauce, Matt Riddle, Timothy Thatcher. You know, 2 out of the 3 of those guys I just named are ex NXT/WWE guys, and they're all on the indies right now. So he could bring back Catchpoint. It could be the 4 of them right off the bat. I think there were other members as well. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think Fred Yeehee might have been a member. I don't know what Fred is up to these days. But I've seen, like I said, Tracy Williams is still going. He's good. I saw him not too long ago in some matches. They're like a technically sound group. Matt Riddle is really the personality of the group, and the rest of them are all very not that the rest of them don't have personality, but you know what I'm saying. All very technically ground, solid wrestling, submission style wrestling, and so I would love to bring that Catch Point, dude. That's what I say, Drew Gulak. See what you can do. I would say those 4 guys I think would be awesome. And then if there's other guys available too, I don't know, because I liked Catch Point, but I didn't keep track of all their stuff. All I know is that Drew Gulak has never beaten Matt Riddle, and I would like to see that at some point. I think it should have happened at that Evolve show that WWE Network ran a few years ago when more than a few. It's like I think just under 5. When Drew Gulak was cruiserweight champ. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the NXT. Good luck to all the other people who got released as well. I don't know them. Sorry. And I hope you like this episode. It's a little bare bones. It's just me tonight. Sorry. Hopefully next time we'll have our producer boy and maybe a co-host to help me out. I'm still new at this, but I appreciate the viewers. We did better than we did last time. My name is Matt Cascone. You can follow me at Matthew Cascone and at Matt's Minifigs if you like Lego. Of course, please follow the pod at Mark It Down Pod. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on X. So yeah, give us a follow, like, subscribe. We love the comments and the engagement. So keep tuning in with us. We'll see if maybe we might have something for Backlash tomorrow. That'll probably be tough for me personally. I don't know about everybody else, but just stay tuned, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed being here talking to you about Smackdown, and hopefully we get more wrestling on Backlash tomorrow than we did tonight on Smackdown, but still a decent episode. So thank you very much. Take care. Good night, guys. Love you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and watch Backlash and watch wrestling and watch us on the Mark It Down podcast.